Good morning, my creative friends. Dr. Minette Riordan here. This is Painting in Your PJs live with Minette, and my allergies are a little froggy this morning. So I apologize for that, but I am super excited to be here with all of you for day 6 of my what I'm loosely calling Oracle deck creation. So I'm thinking they're going to be story prompt cards, visual storytelling cards, but deck of cards sounds boring. So for right now, they're being called an oracle deck. And what I'm doing throughout the month of August is I'm painting a series of faces and I'm looking for mice when it comes to creating faces. I want the deck ultimately to be more cohesive and coherent. And so far I've been doing women's faces and I realize I need to include more diversity, maybe some more youthful children's faces, some more masculine faces, some androgynous faces. And so it's going to be a journey through drawing and painting. I'm having a lot of fun with the practice. And what I'm noticing about creating a project like this is that it takes a lot of willingness to repeat, to be in the practice, not in the completion. I'm someone who loves to move fast. Good morning. Good morning, Tori. I'm someone who loves to move really fast. I want to start the project and get the project done. And I'm loving this project, so I want to kind of be all in, even though I have many other things on the go right now. And so I'm practicing slowing down, taking my time, sort of just considering what is my style, starting to see some of that evolve, but I'm not there yet. So I'm just going to stay in curiosity, practice, and repetition for a little while until I figure out what's what. And I want to offer that up to you as a little bit of advice as well, to be willing to practice, to be willing to play, to be willing to mess up. I'm not going to create. I keep cutting out. I'm not sure if it's you or not. If anybody else is joining us live, you can tell us. I'm not seeing any issues with my microphone this morning. Maybe try logging out and back in, Tori, and see if it's still me. My volume seems to be okay here. So if anyone else is live, if you can tell me if you can see, if you're hearing, if it's me zooming, blah, 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 cutting out, or if it's someone else. If I need to restart, I can do that. I'm going to text my husband real quick and see if he can take a listen. Bear with me 1 second. And if someone else is joining us live, if you can let me know if it's my sound or if it's on Tori's end. Just testing my techie husband. I'll have him have a look and see if I can actually send a text. Bear with me for just 1 second here. Okay, think I'm good. All right, never mind. All right, sounds like we're all good. Okay, so let me know, Tori, and we'll see how it goes. This is why it's a live show. Tech stuff happens. So if you're brand new to Painting in Your PJs live with Minette, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And if you like what I share today, be sure and hit the like button and that subscribe button. Let other people know this is a show worth watching, as well as get reminded whenever I have new content. And throughout the month of August, I am having fun creating a deck of oracle cards, and I'm in this sort of repetition play period and just in the sort of experimentation, seeing what I like. Those were definitely two of my favorites. I do like the ones with some of the symbolism and the little critters. I'm thinking maybe she needs maybe a little kitty cat peeking over her shoulder here. Did this one on yesterday's live, and I think this is what I love. Okay, my hubby says it's fine also. All right, good. Glad we got it figured out with those sound issues. So I want to paint another face today. Reminder that I will not be here the rest of the week because we are headed off to Yellowstone tomorrow. And my daughter and I had a trip. That's awesome, Tori. I'm so excited that you're creating a deck along with me and that you have a great plan. A plan really helps. A plan really helps. And if you didn't watch the first video in the series and you're just catching this one, I'm trying to get this package open. I talk over there about how to create an oracle deck and some of the things to think about, and having a plan is definitely super, super helpful. Okay, this is not wanting to come open. It has this nice little, Ziploc thingy at the top, but for some reason it's not coming open. But I found these little tools. I have big versions of these, but I'd never seen these little small ones. I'm sure maybe other people have. But these are called doodle sticks. They're mixed media tools. They're also called clay shapers. And I have a set of giant ones that I use for mark making or especially for dot art that I really love. And when I saw this little tiny set of them, good morning, Marion, I got really excited. So these are rubber tipped and they're very interesting and fun to play with for mark making. So I thought I might play with those a little bit this morning, and I might play with them in my journal. I might try to dive in right on the piece of art itself. But this is a face that I started a couple of days ago, and I'm going to dive into here on this card today, sticking with my palette. Like, I already feel like I've been working on this project for a while, and yet I've only created, let's see, one, two, I think there's six, three, four, five, six. Well, not too bad. Today is video number 6. Me too, Marion. I'm having so much fun with these different styles of, abstract-ish faces, some a little more abstract. Really love how that one came out. So I'm having a lot of fun with these. This one, she still needs something. Maybe she might get gessoed over. But where I'm at is in this exploration and seeking for my personal style, my personal voice when it comes to painting faces. Like when we think of an artist like Jane Davenport, for example, her girls are very recognizable, or Tamara Laporte from Willowing. Those are both two super recognizable face styles. Manga and anime. Sorry, hang on a sec. Are very recognizable styles. And I don't have a face style. Or Megan Quinlan, whose work I really love. She has a distinctive style of face, and I'm still on a quest for that. So what I'm doing is a lot of practice, and we leave for Yellowstone tomorrow, and I will be taking my journal with me and doing a lot of practice. I love Tamara too. I interviewed her on a summit a number of years ago, and she's absolutely lovely and super, super smart. And I love her art, and her style is super recognizable. I'm not at a place where anyone would say my overall style is recognizable, but I'm looking through these at these different styles, and I think this is what I want to try next with, some a little bit different design. But I'm definitely having fun with the practice of the drawing. So while I'm in Yellowstone, I won't be painting, but I will continue my daily creative practice while I'm there. All right, so I'm thinking what I did with these cutie pies might be interesting for some marks in the background. And this one feels she's a little bit dark at the moment, and I want to brighten her up. So let's just see. All right, so that has a beautiful little roundish edge on it that's making really nice dots, much easier than with a brush. Can kind of move that around and make some different patterns. And I don't know that I want it to be, I actually kind of like the little bit less paint, but I'm going to leave it there for a minute and we'll let that dry and see where we get to. I feel like her hair needs some more texture and details, and obviously I need to bring her face back. What I love about these is that they're super easy to clean. You can literally just wipe them off with a paper towel. You know, they don't use as much paint as you do when you're painting with a brush, you know, and a brush absorbs a ton of paint. Okay, so I'm going to bring, and I think maybe this was a photo on my phone I found that I was playing with. So I found this super cute folk art face and kind of pop arty cartoony, and I loved the shape. The style is not mine, but it was a great example of a face to draw. So this was where I got kind of the shape and the idea, but we're going to make her our own. So when it comes to drawing faces, it's nice to have something to start with, and it's nice to be able to just kind of also draw out of your imagination as well. But I love the shape and the playfulness of her face. I love her little glasses kind of sitting down on the tip of her nose. So it was a fun one to play with. So, and she had kind of these nice sort of almond-shaped eyes. I even bought a book on expressive faces this morning for some inspiration for my trip, because apparently I am not going to have much access to Wi-Fi, or maybe there is no Wi-Fi where we're staying, and not much cell service either. Okay, so I either need to move her glasses up or move her eyes down. It's going to be easier to move these glasses up just a little bit because I really want it to look like they're coming kind of right over the edge of her eyes. I'm just going to have to play with the shape a little bit. Maybe we'll exaggerate the length of those. And she's looking kind of the side, you know, I can see an angle of her glasses, but not both sides of her glasses. She has a broad nose. And she has a very, very sweet mouth. And in the book I was reading this morning, it was interesting, you know, talking about like what we see when we look at faces is we see symmetry, we see perfection. And yet, if you actually look really close at a face, they're they're never perfect, right? They're never perfect. And I know you can't see what I drew there very well, but I am going to come back in with one of these black pens and get the black on there so I can see it. Even if it all gets painted over at this stage, it just acts as kind of a guide, almost as if I'm creating sort of my own coloring page. But I want to encourage you, you know, if you're interested in doing more faces, to really look at faces. And I often get in trouble. In fact, I had an idea for a blog post about that this morning. Um, is I get really obsessed with people's faces. Good morning, Miss BEB. Is it B? Is it Beb? Is it Barbara? good morning, or something other really lovely. And my husband always, fusses at me. He's like, "You're staring again," but I'm so fascinated both by faces and by story, both by faces and by story. So I do have a tendency to get a little annoying with staring at people. I try to be unobtrusive about it, but I'm so stinking curious, right? I'm so stinking curious. The bridge of those glasses on there. And these are old pens that I've had for years, and they're definitely on their last legs here a little bit, but it's going to give us what we need to just have those guidelines and get us started. So I love she's sort of peering over the edge of those glasses. And of course I smeared the white paint. All good. First layers, right? First layers. And I think I'm wanting to actually blot some of that paint off. So what I've been doing when I've had extra paint on my palette at the end is I've just been putting them on cards, right? So I have a variety of different backgrounds already started with, bits of paint on them so that and I just keep adding the paint from my palette to these different cards so that they're ready to go when I sit down to paint. And that's another aspect of that preparation. The more time we spent preparing, then I think the more, oh, hi, Blanca. Good to see you this morning, my friend. Um, but the more time we spend in preparation on a project like this, the faster and easier the project is, the less likely we are to get frustrated or bored. Oh, those are already pretty dry. Interesting. Okay, good. All right. Let's work on her hair a little bit. So in the original, she had a bow in her hair. I'm not much of a bow person, but I'm wondering so what's occurring to me a little crazy is that maybe she's got a bird's nest in her hair here, and she's going to have a little birdie nestled up in her hair instead of, you guys know I love birds. All right, so I have to work on the drawing of that a little bit, but somehow it seems like, how sometimes they say people's hair looks like a bird nest, that somehow she needs a little bird's nest in her hair there. Kind of quirky, but quirky is what we're going for these. Okay, super cute, good start. She needs some color and detail on her face, and she needs some texture on her hair. And now we're going to paint in the bird and the bird's nest. So I'm going to get something similar to the same color of brown for her nest. Can't tell you how I made that brown, but we're going to figure it out. So I can tell you I get to my brown by mixing all of my colors together. And just getting those right proportions down. The yellow is always the key to getting those really nice browns. So purple and yellow make brown, right? And I'm using red plus blue, which makes purple, plus yellow, which will get us to the brown. So that's the direction I'm going. This is turning out a little more green than brown today. And I definitely want it to be a little more twiggy colored. So we just keep adding a little bit of color at a time. All right, this is probably close enough. And I'm going to start with a solid background on this nest. We have a dove's nest in our tree out front. And then I'm going to come back with some fine tipped pens once it's dry and add detail. I still haven't finished the one from yesterday either. She needs a little more detail. And I'm looking at it going, I think I want to lift that nest up, and I still want her hair to come down over the front of that. So this is going to look really big for just a second here. And I want that bird maybe to be sitting a little higher up on her head. Again, practice and preparation, right? Practice and preparation are the way to find our style. So I'm just going to continue throughout the month of August to enjoy being in the playfulness of finding my style. And I'm still at this point, I'm about a week into the project, and I'm still enjoying it, right? I'm not feeling like I'm going to run out of steam on this. So I'm just covering up some of that brown. I'll let that dry and then come back with some yellow, but I'm feeling like her hair needs to brighten up here or have a little more variety. So maybe thinking a little bit of, get some nice orange going and just get some texture in her hair. Some of this probably doesn't even show. You can see that a little bit, but in part because of the glare on that wet paint, but you can see just coming in and adding some texture to the hair. And I want it to look kind of like that nest is sort of nestled in there, as if that birdie just built that nest right on top. Okay, took too much of that out, but that's okay. We'll just paint it back in. Paint, we paint it in, we paint it out. We paint it in, we paint it out. Just want that hair to have a little more life and movement. Hair is one of the things when it comes to creating faces that is often the thing that adds a lot of originality and personality to a face. The eyes are another feature that adds personality, playing with shapes of faces. Yes, staring at people can get us into trouble, but it's so much fun. People are so interesting. They are so interesting. All right, I'm going to bring that nest back just a little bit. Definitely going to want to come in and add detail to that, make it look like sticks there. Okay, let's get some of this down here under her chin, create a little shading. A little shading under the edges of her arms. And I'm definitely liking the faces as I'm watching the styles. This one, you can see some of the blocks of color underneath, but I'm liking these ones that just have these sort of blocks of color under the different pieces and under the or on the faces, right? That they're less realistic, giving them that abstract. So I'm going to come in and just give her more color. Again, if you're new to watching this, I'm using the same palette on all of the cards because that's going to give a nice symmetry to my cards. It's going to make them recognizable. That goes a long way to helping us with our style. Goes a long way to helping us with our style and our voice. And I'm just sort of randomly placing the color. I'm not being precious about it or too intentional about it. Remember, everything is paint overable. Just helps give that little bit more interest. And I can always take a handy dandy baby wipe and push some of that color back. Now this is just, a wet brush with no paint on it. So I'm feeling like that blue is a little bit dramatic. And I don't want to lose all of it, so I'm just sort of lightly touching it. If you ask me what one of my sort of must-have tools in the studio is, it would definitely be baby wipes. I don't want to lose all of my black there. All right, I think I want some yellow, but we're going to maybe brighten that yellow up a little bit. And I'm thinking I might even paint a little layer of white over the tips of her glasses here. To kind of give them that little bit of reflective look. Get a little more lightness on the top of her arms here so we see some of that distinction. I like her. She's cute. She's kind of ageless looking, I think, because of the way that she's looking over her glasses. Just a little light on her forehead here, just brightening her up a little bit, right? I'm noticing that because I've got a lot of layers on these little cards that I'm being mindful of when they maybe are just getting a little too dark, and what she needed was just to get brightened up a little bit. I even want to bring in some of that little more orange from her hair. And what I love about working with the baby wipe as a tool is that you can wipe away some of the paint but not all of the paint. So you get these really interesting textures happening. All right, let's give her some color on her lips here. All right, I have to ask because I'm looking at this pink blouse going, has anybody seen the Barbie movie? It's been fascinating reading all the commentary about it from friends that have seen it, and my daughter said she loved it and that I have to go see it. I didn't really have any interest in going to see it, but I've seen so many people comment about it that now I'm feeling like, okay, well, do I need to go see what all the hype's about or not? Okay, I'm starting to feel like I'm fussing maybe just a little too much with her, but I do like all the color in her face. The silly little bird's nest in her hair. I'm not liking the white in the background here, and but I'm still wanting that background to be brighter, so I'm thinking what I need is to just get a lighter shade of white. I don't have a lot of green on here, so maybe we'll just green that up just a little bit and try that. If I don't like it, I can always paint over it. I still wanted to have the marks and the texture, but the white was too white. That feels better. Just feels like there's something about her that was deserving of just a nice, happy, bright. Yeah, nobody's seen it yet. You're going to see Oppenheimer, but not Barbie. Yep, totally get that. We've talked about both. Not sure about Oppenheimer. I don't know. We have not been to see a movie in a movie theater maybe since before the pandemic, and we used to go all the time. I love movies. Maggie and I watched a super cute one. It was new on Amazon Prime this week, if you have Prime, called The Portable Door. Fun little sort of magic fantasy story with some really great actors in it. I do love movies. I don't know if I've ever had this much fun mixing colors either, because I have smashed the thumbs up, please, folks. What does that mean, Sharon? Smash the thumbs up. But I am really definitely enjoying working with just these few colors and making my own. All right, she's starting to get some nice character. She needs some color in her eyes. Awesome. Thank you, Sharon. Appreciate that very much. Handy dandy gel pens. Okay, it's amazing when you bring the detail into the eyes. Like they really, your characters start to come alive when you add those eyes. And I'm wondering if I want just a little bit of white on these glasses so that it makes them look like maybe the light is reflecting on the glasses. And the glasses need some color as well. But what I don't have right here are, oh, I do have a pink one. See, is this one any good anymore? Nope, all my gel pens got moved, or my poscas are on the other side of the studio at the moment. Okay, that one's dead. All right, we're going to give her some bright yellow glasses for the moment because what I need is just to be able to see the glasses and decide where to kind of go next here. And I have one more phone call after this morning, and then I get to spend the rest of the day shopping and packing, food shopping and packing for our trip to Yellowstone tomorrow. I am so excited. My daughter is so hopeful that she's going to see wolves, and we're going to try. And the last time I was in Yellowstone was on my honeymoon 27 years ago. And it's going to be cool, not hot. One of our concerns was it was going to be super hot this time of year, but they are pretty much like us here in Colorado. They're having a cool, rainy summer. So one of the things she talked about in this book I was reading about expressive faces, it was to really pay attention to where the shadows are, right? And the shadows are in the corners of the eyes and under the nose, in the corners of the mouth. Okay, what she doesn't have is all the black outlines that I have been putting on all the others. Maybe that's, I don't know, she got a little too crazy. But I really do like the black outlines on the others. But I'm looking at her going, I don't know that she needs those big black outlines. And yet I want to have that, symmetry of look there. And she definitely needs some color in her eyes. Yeah, that's not going to be bright enough. So I think I'm going to have to do white in her eyes, but I'll see if with my tiny brush here if we can just get some nice bright blue eyes with this teeny tiny little brush. Gonna need some good hand control here. Not always my forte for sure, but fortunately I can come back and clean it up. I got to bring the top of her eye back. All right, she's looking pretty cute. She's feeling good. Not feeling like she actually needs a lot of pattern in her background, but maybe we're going to give her a little, just little ruffledy bits along the edge of her blouse. All right, looking good, looking good when I do that other pen. Okay, let's see. Bring the top of her eye back there. Clean this up a little bit. I'm not loving the yellow of the glasses. Yes, it is very helpful. Thank you, Sharon. Very, very helpful if you hit that thumbs up. Makes a huge difference and encourages other people to watch along for sure. All right, we're going to come in with that black and just see what happens. I think it's going to make her just pop out here in a good way. From our background. And I am not going to do the top of her head because we got to draw our bird on there. She 100% needs pink glasses, Yvonne, and I don't have a pink gel pen that's working in front of me right now, so I will have to go find one because, of course, guess my gel pens are upstairs in a whole different part of the house. But she definitely needs, I'll see if I can paint a little of that pink over the top. But I'm happy with her face. She needs a little more, some white highlights, but we're getting there. So we're going to come in for this nest here. And I definitely want that nest to have some abstract sticky-like texture. We have the prettiest little dove's nest, and it did come back and nest this year in our front yard, but we also had a hawk, and so we're not sure if she actually managed to have any babies or not. All right, and so let's get a little birdie up here. And I think this little birdie is just singing his little heart out as she's sitting on her nest, or he's sitting on his nest. Little tail sticking up. And maybe some little music notes up there. So again, keeping these very cartoony and playful. Intentionally cartoony and playful. And we're going to give this bird some fun colors here. And a nice big eye. And maybe what's going to be in the background for this one instead of marks are just some happy little music notes. All right, creating interest, right? Just trying to decide where it's going to go. I really like the music notes, so maybe I'm going to add more of these music notes that's going to be the background. I'm loving that they're a little bit messy and kind of like she's got some fun music playing in her head. I definitely have those days where it feels like there's a bird's nest in my head and there's a lot going on up there. A lot of noise being made. All right, probably needs a few more little polka dots or something kind of, fun added up there, but a good start. And I lost the lid to my pen. How can I lose things like sitting right in front of me? Because I stuck it on the end of another pen. Silliness. All right, let's get that teeny tiny brush going. Get a little more pink here. And see what we can do with these glasses. Nope, too bright. Needs to stand out from her face. And that gel pen is water soluble, right? They are not permanent, so I might have to let that dry and come back with a couple of coats of the pink, but I'm definitely liking the pink there. And she needs some little bit of that light in her eyes. And she needs some eyelashes. She's definitely a girly girl. Give her a little more color. All right, I'm thinking our birdie up here, I'm going to start with some yellow. We've had a lot of goldfinches in the area this year, and they have been so much fun to watch. I'm going to get some color down. And oftentimes I paint completely over those black lines that I started with, which is fine. I'll just go back. They're just there as guides for the moment. And if ultimately I don't like the bird, you know my mantra, everything is paint overable. And let's give him a little pink in here. So the reason I'm painting the wing pink is like we have pink here, little pink here. It just moves our eye through the page to have those colors in a few different places. It's even good to maybe move some of that color around. And then my eye isn't quite so drawn just right here to the blouse, but also it's drawn across the page. Playful was what I was going for. Thank you. And once this is completely dry, I will come in with poscas and give our birdie a little more detail. I'm also feeling like our nest is going to just need a little more movement and texture. I may even want the hair to come over the bottom of it to look a little more nestled there. My daughter made delicious zucchini bread and my stomach's growling, and all I can think about is a nice warm piece of homemade zucchini bread with the zucchini out of our garden. And it was a good thing we went out and picked, thanks Marion, the zucchini, because we had two hailstorms come through on Saturday and pretty much obliterated my beautiful big zucchini plant and my cucumber. Okay, this is looking better. Just needed some texture. Gives it more of that feeling of a nest. Still feel like her face needs to get brightened up a little bit, so maybe a few more little bits of white, maybe even just some white highlights in a few places. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It's amazing what just adding that just few little bits of white can do to really brighten up the space. Thank you, everybody. I'm super, super excited about our trip. It's going to be a blast. Okay, I'm noticing that this shoulder is a little bit higher than that one, so I'm thinking I'm going to come back here and even that up a little bit. So just noticing, right? We're at this stage now where she's pretty much done and I'm just fine tuning. I'm just fine tuning. All right, and I'm going to have to mix some more of this because this is kind of dried up over here. Close enough. And I'll come back in and touch up those black lines, but you know, it's like I want that it just feels better. So these are those little tiny details that just help, right? And maybe I'm going to come in with just a little bit of that same color on my nest. And we can get a little bit of that same color on our birdie for just a little bit of details, just moving those colors around. So now it just needs to get completely dry, then I'll be able to finish up and fine tune any details, but super happy with how she came out. She's at a great stopping place, and I'm super excited to go and start to get ready for our trip to Yellowstone after a couple more phone calls. And I will see you guys back here 1 week from today, next Tuesday, which I believe, I don't know, is the 14th. We're going to practice drawing some more faces and see where this style and this project takes us. Have a beautiful rest of your week, my creative friends, and I will see you all soon. Bye, everybody. She's so cute. I'm super happy with her. So very, very playful. Not sure I'm loving the bird, but I'm going to let it sit for a little while and see where we get to. Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you, Tori. Me too. I'm having a lot of fun with them. And don't forget to hit that like button and I'll have fun. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.